Happy Friday, CoastLife! You made it to the end of the week. A round of applause. You did it. And we're so glad you're joining us here on the CoastLife Couch. We're your hosts. I'm Leah Rizzo.
I'm Charlie Sokaitis.
And we've talked about, the Gen Z, millennials, how they've sort of changed a lot of things in the modern world, including friendship and the way that it's sort of viewed and looked at, especially when it comes to the financial cost. And I still don't know. No, I do know how I feel about this. I feel like friendship shouldn't be as transactional as maybe some of the younger generations have made it out to be. But this comes from this story here, where Gen Z and millennials struggle to keep up socially due to the financial strain that is put on by friendship. Studies say that Gen Z and millennials spend about $250 a month on friends, often overspending, feeling anxious, and even losing friendships over money. Many lie about their finances, but most would rather be broke than lonely. Experts say that talking openly about budgets can help keep friendships without draining those wallets. Thoughts?
Yeah, I just think that it's pretty evident that it's a tough time financially for a lot of people, and it makes it hard to go out. Anytime you leave your house, it's $50 to $100 just to leave your house, basically, if you're going to go do anything at all. So $250 a month is actually a pretty low number to me, because that's maybe meeting up with friends twice.
Yeah, true.
Like, that's not.
But it's like also your student loan payment, right?
Yeah, but my point is,
right.
It's so expensive to get out of the house right now that I think that's where the disconnect in friendship is. It's hard to maintain because nobody, or at least a lot of people, can't afford to go.
It's true. And I do think that maybe if we sort of, think back to maybe how friendship looked in our high school years, you invite your friends over, you do a night in, and maybe everybody pitches in a little bit here and there, and that maybe eases some of that cost burden. Like, bring back the dinner party. I like a dinner party.
But dinner party's not that cheap either. That's the whole thing.
Well, you like dinner party potluck style.
You can dinner party potluck. Dinner party potluck is hard to say. But how often are you really going to do that? You're probably not doing that every week.
No, not every week.
Maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months. That's not going to solve the problem. That might take a little chunk out of it, but it's not going to get you to everybody being social, having a social life, and doing things together.
But I guess there are like groups of friends that I don't see except for maybe once a month, because we live a little bit all over. We're a little bit more spread out these days, especially as you get older, and like now they're having babies, and so they're like, oh, we're out. And I'm like,
we shall not be joining.
We'll see you in 2 years. Yeah. So I think sometimes, and I also think sometimes hosting at home is a little bit more flexible for your parent friends if they're up for it. So I think sometimes that communication as well. I feel like it also kind of boils down to communication. It's getting creative with your friend group and coming up with ways to spend a little bit less money, but also still have a good fun time too. Sometimes just a little bit of snacks, music, hanging out, little game night at home.
That's where the planning part is important, but not everybody is good at that. So if you want to have a social life, you might have to actually put in more effort than you'd usually do.
Yeah, somehow I ended up a lot of times the social coordinator, and I'm like, I am the worst planner when it comes to stuff like that. But especially with like my coworker group of friends, they're like, so when are we getting together? And I'm like, I don't know. Why don't you pick? And they're like, no.
I did a great job growing up of having friends that were more in that vein, and I was just like, whatever it is, I'm pretty game.
I'm usually the catalyst of like, let's get together for something fun, and then we kind of plan together. And like my high school friends are better planners, so they're usually like, all right, schedules unite, and they start, we have spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff to keep ourselves organized. And I'm like, this is a lot. But I think for the more local friends, it's a quick text and hey, who's free this day, what time? But speaking of sort of trends that are changing, and especially I think going hand in hand with the expense of going out, you're also seeing a lot of younger people drink a lot less. And this is something that's been talked about a lot, I feel like, this year, and maybe even on the heels of COVID, that the younger generations
really fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, it really has.
The numbers are startling, and I think there's a couple different reasons why, but read what we have here.
There are, and this is all from a new Gallup poll that says 53% of Americans now think that even moderate drinking is bad for your health. That's almost double from 2015. Overall, only about 25% of Americans who drink said that they've consumed alcohol in the prior 24 hours. So I feel like you used to have a lot of people that were like, oh, maybe have a glass of wine with dinner every night.
Yeah.
But I think like that number is also, and that's also starting to drop. For the first time, over half think that even a drink or two a day is bad for you. And it's Gen Z and millennials leading the sober shift, with older folks starting to catch up as well. Behind it, there's some science to back it. They say it's pretty clear that booze is not a heart helper, but it's often a cancer risk. And I'm not sure if that depends on what type of booze you're drinking, alcohol in general.
I don't know how much of this has to do with health.
Yeah.
And I'm actually leaning towards almost zero.
Cost, yeah.
I think it has to do with a couple things. I think it has to do with the cost of going out. Unless you're in the Midwest where drinks are still reasonably priced, a lot of places you go, you're 10, 12 bucks for a drink. So again, talking about places you can cut out expenses, that's an obvious one. Secondarily, marijuana being legal in a whole lot of new places.
That's true.
If people are replacing one vice with another, that might be part of it as well, especially if people are going out less in general. You know, maybe that's more of an at-home situation, and that might be having a big impact on it. And then thirdly, you know, you talk about the loss of third places, all of those kinds of changes. Those are the kinds of places where people go and then have a drink and then do things. Again, if they can't afford these things, or if they're just trying to cut back,
the cheap dive bar isn't as popular.
Yeah, the cheap dive bar in a lot of places has disappeared. Not everywhere, like I said, but in a lot of places it's gone away, and so might not be worth it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I do think also there has been somewhat of a cultural shift amongst younger people, and I think especially amongst younger women, of the, you know, the clean girl lifestyle, the clean girl aesthetic, and attached to that is like not being the sloppy girl at a party and not drinking as much. And I think sometimes that does get thinly veiled under the guise of health. I don't know that that's necessarily what it actually is, but I do think there is some pressure in that regard, especially on social media, where, you know, health means a lot of things on social media and TikTok, and you get a lot of non-health professionals saying certain things. And I think a lot of that does play into...
You can find a lot of information, whether it's good information. The internet is the internet, so...
Exactly. And so I do think as sort of the clean girl took off, and it was all about, like, you know, organic skincare products and wearing your hair more neat, and just like a lot of things that played into that look, I think drinking less really was a part of that. And I think, yeah, you tie together the saving money aspect. I think you tie together, I think, some of the cultural shifts that we're seeing just in general. I'm not surprised by the fact that drinking has dropped off, but I am surprised by the numbers, at like how fast it was.
It is startling how much it has dropped off, and that's the part that's surprising to me. I'm never surprised that there's an ebb and a flow to these kinds of things, but this is like, you know, the continental shelf. Like, it is whew. So let's ask the audience at home. Have your drinking habits changed at all in, say, the last, let's call it 2-ish years? Yeah,
I mean, now that I think about it, I guess mine may have. So we want you to chime in on our socials. The conversation always carries over to you. You can also email us, team@coastlife.com. But of course, we've got our Friday edition of Coast Life to get to. Let's see what's coming up on the show. Much like culture is ever changing, so is the world of real estate, and we've got the folks that keep you up to date on all things happening in that wacky world.
Plus, we've got just the cutest little kitten joining us. We're going to be talking about fostering these kinds of little cats. You won't want to miss it.
And if your curb appeal could use a little bit of a facelift, you might think about your driveway, and you might think about concrete. We've got the folks that could give your house just that facelift and what it needs to make that curb appeal so special. All that fun and more is coming up on Coast Life.
Coast Life is sponsored by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, Shell Brothers, and the Parker Group. This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning.
Well, we've been talking about how back to school season is upon us, and for all you teachers out there, we know that wish list, it gets kind of long, doesn't it? Well, luckily for you, we've got one guardian angel out here that's inspiring random acts of kindness. We've got Lacy Coleman with Coastal Comfort sitting here on the Coast Life couch. And Lacy, normally when you're here, we're talking about how people can keep their HVAC systems up and running and all the tips and tricks for that. But you're also just an upstanding pillar of the community, because when people go to the Coastal Comfort Facebook page, they're going to see a post. And that post is asking teachers for their wish list, right?
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about what inspired this and how people can get involved, because I think this is a great way to wrap up summer, honestly.
Yeah, no. So we always are looking for different things to do in the community. And honestly, we've been doing some different things for teachers for years. But previously, we would have people like nominate teachers and we'd put something together, we would deliver it. But this is actually an easier way to connect with so many more teachers. And honestly, it's low effort, but it's so impactful. Yeah. So we want to do something. Teachers, the need is great. What they do in the classroom, the impact lasts forever. They spend a lot of their own personal time and money impacting and really changing the future of our youth. So it's really important that all community members, business-minded people, anybody really can offer support. And I can tell you how much they really, really appreciate it. So I was thinking the easiest way to do this is, hey, teachers, drop your wish list in the comments. We're going to randomly select some teachers and we will buy some items off your list, and it's great because it just goes directly to the teacher. It ships to them. So we have already sent out some different wish list items for over 25 teachers, but there are a lot more. But you really see the need when you're looking at the items on the list. It can be basic items from hygiene items to pencils, to pens, cleaning supplies, paper towels, to some really creative. I sent a case of shaving cream. Nice. Shout out to Miss Marshall and Laurel. She's an art teacher, and she says she'll send some pictures towards the end of the year when they use that. So I'm really excited to see that. So, but there's all kinds of things: books, hands-on activities, flexible seating options, you name it, they have it. And it's really cool to kind of see all the different things that teachers are doing. We have, a lot just from, there's 6 counties that we're doing this in. So you can imagine hundreds, thousands of teachers, and the post is really taking off. Yeah, so it's wonderful to see. I wish that I had the resources to send something, to fulfill all of the wishes. I'm trying to do as many as I can. But if there's people out there in the community that want to help out, business-minded people, if you have a business, if you just, want to do a random act of kindness, I can assure you that they are extremely grateful. We're already getting messages, that they're, emotional. They're so thankful. So head over to the Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning page. It's a pinned post right there on the top.
Perfect.
And in the comments. So I found as easiest as copy and pasting that link, because you actually can't click it in the comment for whatever reason. So copy, paste, put it in your browser. There comes the list. Whatever you decide, you can add to your cart and then pay for it. It ships it right to directly to the teacher. So perfect. Low effort, huge reward, super impactful, and it really helps them out.
Yeah, it's going to make sure that everybody has a great back to school year and a great back to school season. And we do know, if you have a teacher in your life, whether it's, you're a teacher or somebody who's a teacher, how much that they spend and all the effort that they put in out of their own pocket, out of their own money to make sure that everybody is having a good learning experience for the school year.
Yeah, my sister's a teacher. She's been teaching for close to 20 years now. She's a middle school teacher. And yes, and honestly, and that's what she's like, pencils. So many pencils. So, I understand it. I see it firsthand. My kids, they're in the public school system as well. So, just anything that can help the teachers. The need is great when the children are coming to school. A lot of them don't have the supplies that they need. They don't have the hygiene products that they need, and the teachers are, ensuring that they do. It's been tampons to deodorant and just everything in between for feminine products as well. So I appreciate the teachers and what they're doing. So anything that we can do to kind of help the burden on as many as we can, we're trying to do that. But if there's folks out there that would love to join our cause and help out, jump on my list or jump on our post, make your own post, ask for it. They would be super appreciative.
Sounds good to me. Well, Lacy, thank you so much for all that you do to take care of the community and inspiring random acts of kindness, because we know that you guys love to give back as well. So get involved with that. Head to Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning's Facebook page and check out that wish list. I think this is going to be fun. I can't wait to kind of see how the community gets involved with this one. Lacy, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Coming up next on Coast Life, though, if you've got room in your hearts and your homes for a new kitten, or maybe you want to foster some animals, we've got some opportunities to talk about when we get back. Well, I know we love Fridays for so many different reasons, of course, one being the weekend. But one of the reasons why Friday is my favorite day of the week, our pet of the week, and we've got a real cutie for you this week. We've got a little foster kitten joining us, and Faith Wright with Brandywine Valley SPCA, who's going to tell us more. This is your foster kitten, correct?
This is my foster kitten, correct. So everybody, for some reason, thinks kitten season is over.
No.
But kitten season is going very strong, and we are in desperation need, honestly, for fosters right now for these little young kittens. This one is bottle fed, and it's very
so sweet.
Yeah, I know. And it's very easy to bottle feed them. We provide all of the supplies. We provide the formula, we provide the bottles, the kitty litter, the litter box, anything you can need. And you know, some people aren't comfortable bottle feeding, but they like to do like the slurry feeding and the weaning. I personally am not good at the slurry feeding and the weaning. I just let them go on forever. So having somebody take my kittens once they're off the bottle ready to go, then it's better for them to take them and continue their feeding process, and we have no problem doing that as well.
Yeah.
And if you have a vacation coming up, we're able to find babysitters for you.
Nice.
There's just all kinds of things, but we are really, really in need across every Brandywine Valley campus right now of fosters.
Yeah. So what are some of the other reasons why somebody may choose to foster a kitten or a puppy or dog for that matter? But what are the different roles that you have maybe for fosters who are ready to sign up and, really serve a huge purpose for you guys?
So we have many reasons that animals can go to foster. Some could be post-surgery. Maybe they were hit by a car and they have a broken pelvis and need some crate rest. Maybe they had an amputation. Also, we have animals that just don't do well in the shelter. Their quality of life is deteriorating, but they do great at home. So that kind of foster is also very important. Medical treatment. There's a lot of reasons. And then also you can just come in and say, I want to adopt a dog, but I'm just not sure which dog.
Sure.
And we can talk to you about which dog, and you can even try a trial foster with that to see if that foster dog works good for your home.
That's, I think, a great idea, especially for, if you are maybe on the fence, you don't know who's going to be a good fit. Maybe you don't know if you're a good fit for a certain dog either, or a certain type of dog energy or experience to kind of see where you land, see how comfortable you are. And I know that there are a lot of, the foster fails or foster to adopts out there.
We call them foster successes.
That's what I would say.
They're not foster failures, they're foster successes. Yes, I have 7 of them myself at home.
It happens, it happens. So for this little kitten who's here with us, is she going to be available for adoption at some point?
So right now she only weighs a pound.
Adoption success.
She only weighs a pound, so we do need to have them weigh closer towards 2 pounds to be able to be adopted, because they need to be able to be spayed, neutered, all of that stuff.
All of that makes sense
but
to me.
there are many of them like her we have some that only need 2 more weeks in foster. They're 6 weeks old, and we really prefer them to be 8 weeks old just due to illnesses and the amount of vaccines that they can get, things like that. So anything right now is going to help. So just go to one of your local Brandywine campuses and say, I'm here to foster, and I bet you we can find you something to go home with.
I love that. So open your heart, open your home. It can be just a temporary thing for you, and you're going to be helping out the folks at the shelter, the animals. You're going to help them get out of the shelter, and so that they can either kind of recover from a medical procedure in peace, or maybe they are just stressed out in the shelter because it's a stressed environment. But I know you guys also have another fun thing coming up.
We
and this
do.
is for pet owners, not just adopters. If you have a pet, you can participate in this. Tell us what you have going on.
So we have a photo contest starting up.
Yay.
So you take your picture of your favorite animal, or just submit your favorite picture of that animal, and then you have to start getting people to vote for your animal. But first place winner gets a photo session and gets the front page of our calendar.
Cute.
And then gets to pick which month of the calendar they want to be in as well.
Nice.
So there will be there'll be 1 first place winner and then 11 backup winners that will have a page in the calendar as well. Does not have to be a Brandywine Valley specific animal, because all proceeds do benefit local animals.
I love that. So how can folks sign up, or where should they go to sign up and get involved and submit their photos?
It would be best to go to our website, bvspca.org, and there will be a link on there that you can click through. It's a very long link that you don't want me to try to remember.
Sure.
So it would be best to just go to our website and look that up. I have to tell you about another new exciting thing we have. So I know this is not Dover, but we have been getting people from Rehoboth Beach and Georgetown up to Dover. We opened up our new everyday adoption center at the Dover PetSmart.
Oh, fun.
So we have dogs and cats that actually live in the facility now.
Nice.
And they are available for adoption 6 days a week. So we are open Tuesday through Friday, noon to 7, and Saturday, Sunday, 11 to 5. We have a big special coming up next weekend with it's Adopt Joy. It's a PetSmart promotion. So yeah, we've been getting a lot of people from South coming up to Dover just to see the animals that are there. We've got some pretty cute ones.
There you go. Well, you heard it here. So if you are, you're ready to take those steps, you know that you're ready to take those steps. You got some great options to adopt and help out. I know shelters have been really overcrowded lately, so you can help clear those out, and it's a win-win for everybody.
This has been a big help for the shelters because we're able to take them from the shelter to the EAC.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Faith, thank you so much for coming in, bringing your little foster kitty with you.
Glenda, who's almost done with her bottle.
No, she's gonna be she'll sleep good on the ride back.
Exactly.
And maybe you're ready for that foster, or you're ready for the full adoption step. Either way, make sure you check out Brandywine Valley SPCA and make sure you submit those photos for the calendar. Okay, thanks again.
Thank you.
We've got more Coast Life coming your way, though. More fun that you don't want to miss. Well, I feel like it's been quite a bit since the last time we doled out these awards for our Winners of the Week. That one was all over the place.
That's just the thing that happened.
That was a series of instruments.
Our Winners of the Week, and speaking of instruments, somebody that's actually pretty good with them, Taylor Swift is our Winner of the Week. So you're going to see a real theme throughout this Winner of the Week segment. You want to start with your first one?
Sure, yeah. I mean, when we were coming up with our Winners of the Week, and Charlie was kind of like, I was going to give it to Taylor Swift. I was like, Taylor Swift. So, again, the theme. My first award going out to, I guess, sort of Taylor Swift, but also the fans, the Swifties out there, because we know that the serious Swifties are always on the hunt for a good clue. So they're going to get the National Treasure Another Clue Award.
No, but we found another clue that led us here.
Yeah, and that'll lead you to another clue.
Anytime you can get both Taylor Swift and Nick Cage involved, I think you got to do it.
Literally some of my favorite things.
You got to put them together. I'm going to give my first award for Taylor Swift. First, let's play this quick clip of her talking about, let's call it, the fellas out there.
I think we all know that if there's one thing that male sports fans want to see in their spaces and on their screens, it's more of me.
I absolutely love that clip. It was one of my favorite things I saw this week. So for Taylor, I am going to give her the Harry Potter Troll in the Dungeon Award.
Troll in the dungeon! Troll in the dungeon!
She is, I mean, whether you call her the ultimate troll, the ultimate mastermind, because sometimes it is just playing with her fans too, where she's like, maybe I'm going to drop this, but maybe I won't.
It's an unbelievable skill of hers.
It really is, and I think she's got a good sense of humor about it. This next award is going to Taylor's man, Travis Kelce, for, I think, really sharing the stage so beautifully with her. Like, not only does he share the stage, but I feel like a lot of times he steps aside and makes room for her to shine in a career and in a space where, I mean, like she said, that a lot of guys don't necessarily want her. He's like, no, we're going to pump her up and we're going to love her for it. So to Travis, you get the What a Man Award.
And it's not just Travis. It's a whole family affair over there at New Heights on their podcast. So Jason Kelce playing sort of the role of traffic cop in that whole thing, running the show. So I am giving him the Jim Carrey from Cable Guy Award.
Pretty smooth work. I set him up, you knock him down. What?
I mean, I've watched clips of New Heights here and there, throughout since they've been doing it, and I just thought that was a really fun episode to watch all three of them interact with each other, with fans.
And millions and millions of people watch that.
I mean, I think, and Taylor alluded to this too in the podcast, that the Kelce brothers have been so welcoming, especially to the influx of Taylor Swift fans that have been tuning in and don't know anything about football. And they've even had an episode of New Heights where they were like, we're going to break it down for you guys, like, welcome aboard. And I think we need to see more of that in the sports world and sportsmanship. So maybe keep that in mind.
It's a Big Ten. There's a lot of room
gear up
for everybody.
For football season, all right? But there you have it, our winners of the week. If you ever have a recommendation for our winners of the week, you can always send it to us, team@coastlife.com. You could DM us on our socials if that's easier for you. We love to get a little creative here, have a little fun. So if you've got an idea for the winner of the week, let us know. We've got some more Coast Life to get to, more fun coming your way.
This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by the Parker Group.
Well, we've been talking about how it is back to school season officially, but not just for the little guys. Maybe you're in the mood to get back into learning something new. And so we've got our friends from the Parker Group joining us on the Coast Life couch today. We've got Julie Ward and Jen Demarest. And you guys have, I think what I love so much about you guys at the Parker Group is that there is always a focus on education. You never stop learning, and that applies to your agents. So tell me a little bit about this mentorship program. I know we've chatted about it before, but give us a refresher as we head back to school.
Yeah, so Jen actually leads our mentorship program, which is a 30-day Kickstarter for new agents. I'll let her kind of speak to what we go over, but education doesn't stop there.
No, it doesn't, yeah. So we learn all about contracts, client care, marketing, tools that you'll use on a daily basis. You also get to shadow experienced agents so that you get to see real deals happening in real time.
I love it. I think that's a great way to learn, is kind of boots on the ground, absorbing all of it. So Jen, when folks do come to this mentorship program, what sort of experience levels are you seeing? Is there a mix? Is it none?
It's a mix. It's a lot of new agents, and there's also experienced agents that are just looking for a fresh start also.
I love that too. So Julie, I know that you guys at the Parker Group, why is there such a focus on keeping education, at everybody's fingertips, make sure that everybody's always learning? Because I know for me personally, I feel like as soon as you think you know it all, that's when you're done. That's as soon as you're going to age out of an industry.
Right, so real estate is a wide variety field. You're constantly learning, and the laws are constantly changing. So we have to keep up with it, but additionally we have to keep up with technology, we have to keep up with the market. Everything's changing, and we want to stay on top of it with our agents. So it's important for us to first start with the client care focus, as Jen was saying, and what's best for the best interest of the client. And from there, how can we build better systems to keep our agents at the top of their game as well.
Yeah. I love that. So, you mentioned how the course is sort of broken down for folks. How do people get involved if they're interested in signing up for this mentorship program?
So they can reach out to one of us directly or call the office.
Yeah, when we first get started, we sit down, we kind of talk about what their goals are, focus on their business planning, where do they want to be, and especially for a new agent, that can be kind of daunting because you don't even know what questions to ask.
Sure.
So to get started, we'll focus on what their long-term goals are, set the benchmarks, and then Jen and I will help them break down where they need to get started. It comes down to literally how many conversations you need to have a day, and making it all digestible, because starting your own business is daunting, and we're here to support that.
Yes. I love that. So again, if folks do want to get involved in this, maybe they're thinking it's time for a change in careers, or maybe they were a real estate agent and they're thinking it's time to get back into it, how can they get involved with this mentorship program?
The best place to start is to give us a call at the office. Our office number is 302-217-6692. Ask for Julie Ward. We'll sit down, we'll talk again about their long-term goals, and then see where we need to get started, because it is not a one-track mindset. Everybody's lifestyle is going to look different, and we need to accommodate it for where you're at in your life now and where you want to get going to.
Yes.
I think that's great. From when you hear that, if you're going to go work with a company, to know that you guys have your employees' backs like that is also huge, and I think that flexibility is highly valued in today's world. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming in, and thank you guys for all you do for the community. I know it's very much appreciated.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. Don't go anywhere. We've got more Coast Life coming your way.
This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by Liberty Concrete.
Well, as the seasons start to change, it might be a good time for you to think about changing the curb appeal about your home, the way it functions a little bit on the outside, and I bet you haven't considered concrete. Well, we're going to tell you why you should. We've got Robert Hammond and Kyle Williams joining us here with Liberty Concrete, and especially as we head into some of those colder months, the wetter months as the seasons change, you guys have some ways to kind of keep people's driveways safer, and that's with concrete and a little bit of the process of how you put that together. So tell us why concrete is advantageous to switching that over for your driveways.
Well, so in the wintertime, you got the salt and the snow, and everything's a lot different in this area. So we always recommend that you seal concrete. If you seal it, you don't have to worry about it deteriorating next year. Also, the thing is, don't put salt on it. Always put sand on it, because you can just blow it away, and then you don't have any breakdown. So the other thing is we do waterproofing, so we do French drains and stuff like that too. But the main thing is dry lock. So if you dry lock, it's almost like a rubber glove for your foundation.
Oh,
and
okay.
It keeps the water out, and it does a few other things. Kyle knows a lot better because he's kind of like the product guy, and I'm just kind of like the install guy.
Sure.
Now would be the perfect time to do that because foundations do crack. They do allow water to penetrate your foundation, and with the winter coming, when it gets cold, it spreads that water and makes the cracks worse, makes water intrusion worse. So, you know, you get it done now. It's done for the winter. You don't have to worry about it. It can be used on the interior, the exterior.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people, you know, they get nervous with the cost up front, but I think the cost on the back end when you not only have to repair the damage, but a lot of times you have to completely scrap it and start over, right?
Of course, yes.
And the foundation really is the, you know, heart of your home. You know, without the foundation being right, you're not in good shape. So.
Absolutely. Sort of going back to the curb appeal as well, I think a lot of times people, you know, you got to bring your trash cans down the driveway, then you got to bring them back up, and then just kind of sit there, and you're like, they're kind of ugly. But you guys build some trash enclosures too that kind of pretty up the space.
And a lot of HOAs make you keep your trash cans in your garage. So, you know, you don't want to walk out of your house and be smelling your trash. So it adds a little beauty to your home and gives you somewhere to kind of keep your cans, you know?
Yeah. And on that note, you guys have some specials available when it comes to, you know, the trash enclosures, but also specials that you guys have going on all the time.
Yeah, so we always do senior military and first responder discounts. We do like specials year round. So if you get a 320 square foot or more patio, you get a choice between 3 different fire pits.
Nice.
The trash enclosures, you know, they're customizable. We build all different styles. But we have 3 basics you choose from. You know, if you choose the best one, you get a free light kit with it.
Nice.
And so just always try to get back because the costs are always rising, and you know we're trying to get the most for our bang for our buck. So.
It can seem like a small gesture, but I think it goes a long way, and it means a lot as a company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like they literally the people that we try to give back to are the people that keep us safe. The people that, you know,
keep our community going.
Yeah,
you know, they don't get the recognition they deserve a lot of times, you know, so it's always good to be able to give back.
Absolutely. Well, Kyle, like you said, this is a great time of year to, you know, maybe take a look at that driveway, take a look at the foundation, and give you guys a call. How can they get in touch with you?
The best thing I think to do is call Jackie at 302-236-1528. She'll get you, you know, she'll get set up with an estimate. Usually she'll get you an estimate within 24 hours when she comes out and, you know, sizes everything up.
Your driveway will never look better than when you go with these guys at Liberty Concrete. I've seen, I've been out at one of the sites that you guys have done, and I was blown away by how gorgeous everything looked. So you're definitely going to be in good hands with these guys at Liberty Concrete. So thank you guys for coming in today.
Thank you.
Of course. Coming up on Coast Life, though, we do have a little bit more to get to. Have you ever wondered what a day in the life of one of our reporters here at Coast TV looks like? Well, if you have, we can show you when we get back. Watermelon, carrots, peaches, peppers, corn, and of course those signature cider donuts. You know what that means. It's Friday, and not just any Friday, a Pfeiffer's Fresh Friday. And we always squabble over who's gonna take what home when Pfeiffer's brings us all this gorgeous fresh produce. If you go to the farm in Camden, peaches still the star of the show. You can still pick those. You can also enjoy the U Play area with the little ones. Lots of fun stuff to do there. And you can also still pick some gorgeous sunflowers. They've got fields and fields of sunflowers, great photo ops, great little date day if you've got one that you can sneak away from the office or, you know, plan a little weekend trip there. Lots of fun to be had at Pfeiffer's. Also a lot of deliciousness to be had at Pfeiffer's at the Farm Fresh Kitchen. You can also get some peach ice cream while that is still fresh. And of course, like I said, those signature donuts, that's the one thing that we definitely always fight over here at the office. So make sure you get into Pfeiffer's before school starts up. I know it's coming up quick, so give them a few last memories before the summer winds down, and the kids will have some, you know, really exciting stories to tell the other kids at school. And when you do go to Pfeiffer's, tell them that Coast Life sent you. There's more Coast Life, though, on the way that you don't want to miss. Well, maybe you've been a big fan of watching Coast TV for a while now, and you wonder to yourself, what does a day in the life of one of the Coast TV reporters look like? Well, we asked ourselves the same thing, so we sent our field correspondent, Kendall Gordon, to shadow one of our reporters, Emma Aken, for what a day in her life looks like as a Coast TV reporter. So let's take a look.
The day started with a plan and interview with city officials about recent incidents at the beach that have the town considering a curfew.
Right now, we are heading to Rehoboth Beach, down to the boardwalk. basically this is the moving parts of news. We're trying to get an interview with a police officer or the town manager about some incidents that went down at the beach. There was trash, there was trouble.
When officials are unavailable, Emma says the best option is to hit the streets and speak directly with the people affected, the locals and business owners who have seen it all firsthand.
So we were trying to get an interview with police or town manager, but they are slammed today, so we might have to pivot from that. If you have that information confirmed, you can always get the normal person interview, the MOS. They're the people affected by it. They're the people that would have to follow the curfew. So we have it confirmed. We don't need the police.
But news doesn't always go according to plan. Emma tells us that being able to adapt quickly is essential in this fast-paced job.
I wasn't even supposed to be doing this story today originally. I had a different story set up, but news pivots. We have some people off. I kind of like to look at the stress and the chaos as opportunities.
One of the biggest challenges Emma faces is reporting live, a high-stakes moment where there's no room for error. She says knowing her story inside and out makes all the difference.
I actually think a lot of people maybe would think that we have more prep than we do. Most days I'm doing everything myself. Sometimes we have our photographers helping us out, but we don't have as many photographers as reporters. So most days we're getting the interviews, we're researching the story, we're writing the story, we're editing the clips. Most days it's just kind of a race against deadline. Here's the thing that our team taught me, and what I've taken this with since the beginning, is if you know your story, you don't really need to memorize a script. But I've started being way more comfortable with live shots because throughout the day, I just know the story.
In fact, Emma describes the live shot as a reward after a long day.
It's okay, I made it to the end of the day, and then now I'm kind of rewarded with this fun adrenaline rush of going on air and wrapping the story up in a bow and doing my little live report, showing the viewers the scene or what's going on.
Although Emma often works alone on location, she never feels isolated. Communication with her team and colleagues keeps her grounded and supported.
So even if it's physically just me, it's always a team effort. We're always collaborating, working together.
Since graduating from Penn State just a year ago, Emma says she's grown immensely, both professionally and personally.
Well, I think it's helped every aspect of my life, honestly. Kind of on a deep level, I feel like I've never felt this sense of purpose before in my life until right now. Just all the opportunities I've gotten here, I feel like I've really tried to just work as hard as I can and get everything I want out of what they have to offer here. I got to go in the helicopter twice now, report from the helicopter, and that was one of the first things that I thought was so cool about this job. Oh my gosh, they have a helicopter. I've gotten my drone license, so I can get drone footage, help enhance my stories that way. Just all of the little things that first drew me to this place, now actually getting to do them has been super cool. Learning from people that have had such cool experiences in the industry, people that have worked at all different markets, all different states, lived in all different states, covered the Olympics, covered all of these crazy things. Getting to learn from all of them is really cool.
For Emma, this job is more than just work. It's a passion, a constant learning experience, and a privilege she never takes for granted.
Work doesn't have to be bad. I think you always grow up and you're it's scary thinking about working for the rest of your life, and as cliche as it sounds, but I truly don't feel like I'm really working when I'm at work. There's so many days I look around and I'm I cannot believe this is what I get to do. I'm at the beach, I'm talking to people at the beach, I'm having wonderful conversations with people, I'm meeting new people, I'm getting to go in the helicopter, I'm getting to talk to farmers, go in their tractors, I'm getting to do all this different stuff, go all of these different towns learn so much about topics I never thought I would learn about. Really just reminding myself that I get to do this. It's not I have to do this.
And that's a reminder worth sharing. Even when the camera's off and the day is done, the passion for storytelling keeps Emma coming back for more.
Reporting live in Milford, Emma Aken, CoastTV News.
I know when we see our reporters buzzing around the office every day, the sort of behind the scenes, it gets very intense, but it's very, very fun to watch and different than how we do things here on Coast Life, but very, very fun to be a part of. And all of our young reporters are all very stellar downstairs at Coast TV. But we've got some more Coast Life to get to, just a little bit more before we get to Coast TV News at 5, which is all on the way. Well, we hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead of you planned, because it is about our time to turn you over so you can enjoy that weekend. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We know that Coast TV News at 5 is up next, but coming up on Monday, we're going to have some more Coast Life fun for you. More ways for you to give back to the community with another back to school drive that you can get involved in. School supplies collections. I know it takes a village. We want to be a part of that village that is helping to take care of said community. We've also got a joke jar for you on Monday. Brighten things up, give you a little laugh here and there. And don't forget, if you have jokes to submit for our joke jar, you can always send them our way. You can go to coastlife.com. There's a form for you to fill out there. You can email us, team@coastlife.com. Lots of ways to be involved in the show. And don't forget, if you ever miss an episode of Coast Life, you can catch up on full episodes online as well. But for now, have a great weekend. Get out of here. Coast TV News at 5 is up next, and we will see you on Monday for some more Coast Life.